Now we go to Alan Murray, who worked for Dow Jones for many years, and proof of why he belongs in the halls of fame. He's moved on to now a bigger job just recently, but in his honor, Dow Jones is underwriting our dinner tonight. That's called somebody who's got respect. Would Chuck Lovelace, the talented and respected leader of perhaps the biggest brand on this campus, besides the J School, no, the Morehead-Cain Scholars. When you said Morehead-Cain in this town, you know what we're talking about, the top, excellence. And like Alan, Chuck came to UNC as a Morehead-Cain Scholar. Come on up, Chuck.
It's a pleasure to introduce Alan tonight, but before I do so, I just wanted to say a word about Don Baer, who was also a campus media mogul while I was an undergraduate here. Years later, I called on Don to host one of our interns in Washington, D.C. when he was with U.S. News and World Report. And he said, well, I think I've got this new startup project for them to work on. And that new startup project was the first college ratings that U.S. News and World Report did. Don, it certainly changed American culture, and we all hate you for it, but in any case. Alan Murray is an award-winning journalist with almost 3 decades of experience in covering politics and economics, and he also had a stint as a co-host of a public affairs program on CNBC. He served in numerous roles at the Wall Street Journal, including Washington bureau chief, but most recently was deputy managing editor and executive director online for all of the non-print content that the journal produces. He is the author of 3 best-selling books and has won 2 Overseas Press Club awards for his writings on Asia, as well as a Gerald Lieb Award for his coverage of the Federal Reserve. I remember when Alan was named Washington bureau chief, I called him to congratulate him, and he said, I hope I haven't peaked too early. So he obviously didn't. Certainly no one has surfed the tsunami of change in your field with more agility or integrity, and it's a great honor to introduce him tonight. I thought it might be fun to go back and pick up a few of his editorials when he was the when he was the Daily Tar Heel editor, and report to you on them. It's interesting, Chancellor, that some of the issues that are in the news today or in front of this campus were the same 35 years ago when Alan was editor. In one particular case was the Honor Court. And in one particular editorial, Alan lambasted Student Attorney General Chuck Lovelace, saying that the Honor Court was flawed and desperately needed change. That was no good, Alan. Another one criticized the segregation in our Greek system. Alan wrote, the fact remains that there are only 3 blacks and white fraternities. There are no blacks in white sororities, and there are no whites in black fraternities or sororities. Finger pointing doesn't address the situation, it merely avoids it. And I'm sad to report, Alan, that that's still the case today, that we have segregated Greek systems. But the final editorial I wanted to read to you because it obviously avoided the selection committee for tonight. And it's called The Deceptive Profession. Journalism schools are in vogue. In 1967, according to Change magazine, only 24,000 students were enrolled in journalism education programs. Last year, that number had risen to 64,000. At this university, the number of journalism majors has tripled in only 10 years to approximately 300. I'm going to skip the body, but Alan concludes by saying, journalism schools were started across the country several decades ago on a belief that journalism is, like medicine and law, a profession, but learning to write well is not like memorizing laws or parts of the body. It is a skill that cannot be easily taught in a classroom, if at all. The new journalism school vogue is undoubtedly attracting people who have little writing talent and perhaps even little interest in writing. As more of these leave school with their BA degree in journalism, editors may turn to even more non-journalism graduates who have an interest in writing and an education in some other field. He concludes by saying, whatever the implications of this trend, three things are clear. Number one, a journalism degree does not guarantee a good job in journalism. Two, the lack of such degree does not necessarily prevent one from getting a good job in journalism. And three, with or without a degree, the freshly graduated journalist is unlikely to find a job as glamorous as Robert Redford's. So, all three hold true today, Alan.
We're taken back.
Come forward for this well-deserved honor.
If I had realized Chuck was going to do research, I would have asked somebody else to introduce me. But thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Susan. It's really great to be here. Oh, and thank you, Dow Jones, for buying me this award. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here with such a distinguished group. I mean, what a wonderful group of inductees: Chris, Stacy, Jason, Don, Doug, Wyndham, who have I forgotten? Dwayne and Jane, and two more to come. It's a real honor to be part of that group. It's an honor to be part of the people who have been inducted in the past. These are tough times for journalists. I don't have to tell you that. The State of the News Media report that my new organization, the Pew Research Center, puts out every year and came out just about a month ago, said that staffing in newsrooms is down more than 30% from its peak, and is at about the level it was when I graduated from the University of North Carolina, which was a long time ago. It wasn't as long ago as when Don graduated from the University of North Carolina, by the way, just for the record. I want to make that clear. But I'd like to use my 2 minutes tonight to make 2 points. One is, I've had a lot of fun in my career. I've gotten to do a lot of interesting different things. I got to run the Washington Bureau of the Journal. I had my own cable news show. I've never had more fun than I've had for the last 5 years overseeing the digital news operations of Dow Jones. Because first of all, we have more reach than we have ever had before. We were reaching 50 million people a month, order of magnitude greater than at the height of the print paper. We have more tools to interact with people in terms of blogs, conversations, smart, interactive data, graphics, video. I spent a fair amount of my time training reporters in taking and filing simple video from their iPhones. We had 400 people out in the field who were doing that on a regular basis all over the world. So it is more fun than it's ever been before. That's one point. And the second point I want to make, and this gets to Chuck's very embarrassing introduction, journalism schools are more important than they have ever been before. And I really mean this. Because there is a huge premium on the skills that we need to navigate this new world that those of us who come from earlier generations simply don't have. And so having the ability to shoot video, having the ability to build complicated data graphics, having some understanding of computer code, maybe even writing a little code. I hope you're teaching some of that in your schools. Way to go, Susan. Having the ability to shoot and edit videos. There actually are a lot of skills that those of us who are in hiring jobs in journalism desperately, desperately need. So we really do need journalism schools. I may have felt that way a long time ago, but I think we need journalism schools more than ever right now. And I would encourage you, Susan, I think it's great that the university has Susan. I would encourage you to keep it up. And the one thing I'm absolutely certain of is that whatever the future of journalism, there will be a bunch of UNC graduates who are shaping it. So thank you very much.